Alright. So, the way this works is I have all of the Marvel movies right here. And we are going to rank them in these different tiers. Okay. God tier obviously is going to be the undisputed number one pick. And, you know, to be honest, I have no idea what my number one movie is right now. So just looking at all of these. So a couple of disclaimers before we start. So there will be spoilers for Deadpool and Wolverine. I am saving it till the end. I will not be discussing, you know, thankfully this website kind of did it for me where it put Deadpool and Wolverine at the very end, so I don't have to talk about it till the end. But there will be spoilers for Deadpool and Wolverine, so if you have not seen it, that is okay. We have a lot of movies to talk about until we get to it. I will give another reminder right before we talk about Deadpool, just as a spoiler warning, unless you just don't care about being spoiled, which, if that's the case, it is what it is. All right. Now, another disclaimer: this list is my opinion, and I know a lot of times tier lists can get a little bit dicey. But keep in mind, if you do not agree with the list, that is fine. Again, it's you're more than welcome to make your own list. All right. So, Sith Punk, shout out to you in the chat. I see you, man. Let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if you can hear me okay over the background music. Yes, sir. in my Shang Tsung voice, it has begun. Okay, so let me make sure I got all my disclaimers out the way. Number one, there will be spoilers for Deadpool and Wolverine. Number two, this list is my opinion. Take my voice loudly. Hold on. I'll move the mic a little bit closer because this mic's super sensitive. We good now? Can you hear me? Let me know how it is with the background music as well. So there we go. Let's appreciate it. All right. So it looks like the list started out in alphabetical order and then they just stopped caring towards the end. So we're just gonna go through the list. Oh, hold on. You don't hear the background music? Hold on. Can you hear it now? Can you hear me over the music as well? Alright, folks, we're here, man. Okay. So I got my disclaimers out the way. I'm going to try to do this list without bias. Right? Anyone that knows me, god damn, the beat just dropped. Anyone that knows me knows who my favorite character is in Marvel. Alright? So I'm going to try not to be completely biased and put this character's movies way at the top. I'm trying to look at this objectively. Oh, I'm sorry, this music is just like, I can't hear myself. Alright. Here we go. So, starting off, Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't know why they put this before Ant-Man 1. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'm gonna put this... I'll put this in mid tier. Keep in mind as well, as I'm adding in the movies to each tier. I'm going to be coming back and reordering everything. So we'll get an actual like ranking. It is going to go from left to right. Once again, if you're not familiar with seeing these tier lists, all right? So Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'm gonna say is mid-tier. It's not terrible, like another Ant-Man movie that we're gonna get to later, but it was just kind of mediocre, man. I mean, I do like the first Ant-Man, which we'll get to in a second, but yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp just mediocre to me, man. It's one of those where, you know, I'm not gonna scramble to like rewatch it, but if it happens to be on, you know, I'll watch it. It's one of those. It's not super crazy. It's just mediocre. It might actually be, by the end of this, it might actually be the actual middle of the list, to be honest with you. That's kind of how I feel about it. The first Ant-Man, I don't know if I want to put it high tier, or because it's either going to be low high tier or high mid tier. It's one of those two. So I think for now, I'm gonna put it. I'll put it in high tier because it's definitely better than this the sequel. But we'll see as we add more movies to the list where it actually ends up. I feel like the character of Ant-Man was portrayed well. I think for being like the origin story, I think it was done well. But not quite as good as some of the other movies that we're going to see on this list. If you're just joining us, welcome in the chat. And feel free, as I'm going through these movies, you know, if you want to, you know, put any, you know, any input you have on the movie, that we're discussing, you know, you let me know how you feel, right? And once again, shout out to Sithpunk. We did discuss this list previously, so I pretty much know I know how he feels about pretty much all of these movies. So but yeah, so feel free to chime in anytime. So now we're getting into the Avengers movies, man. So Avengers 1, I have to put it top tier. I have to, because of what the movie was able to pull off, especially at the time. You have to keep in mind, this is the first time that we had, you know, a crossover movie of this caliber, you know, that actually turned out pretty well. You know, I'm trying to think if there was another crossover film before this one where they had like a bunch of characters from different movies that all showed up in the same place. I'm sure there is one. I don't think Avengers was the first one to do it. But definitely done well. You know, the chemistry of the characters all coming together, having that build-up of the previous movies. You know, the character development that went into just everything with this movie, and then just having it all play out so well. Definitely a top tier movie for sure. So next we have Endgame, and I don't even have to really explain this one. This is definitely, and I'm gonna put this one in front of Avengers 1. So I mean, what more needs to be said about Endgame, honestly? Like, this movie and Infinity War, which, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and put this right here as well. I don't know. I don't know who I would put first. For now, I'm gonna put this here, but because Endgame and Infinity War are part of the same story, you can kind of group them together. But even if you look at the movies on their own, they are insane. like insanely good. Endgame, well, I'll talk about Infinity War first because it was the first part of the story, right? Give me 1 second. Okay. So Infinity War kind of like, it just sets the tone of a movie that just does not care, and starting off with Hulk getting beat up, and introducing the character of Thanos, and having all the characters come together on an even higher scale than Avengers 1, where it's not just the OGs like the Captain Americas, the Iron Mans, the Thor. No, it's everyone. Okay, you're adding in everyone from like the Doctor Strange. You're adding in Captain Marvel. You're adding in everyone that was Black Panther was in there as well. So you're adding in all these characters on top of the characters you already had. And again, what makes the movie so good is that it has all of these different characters coming in for this one story, and it does it so well. Like the pacing of the movie, the story itself, and then the fact that it ends, not on a good note. It ends with pretty much the bad guy winning, which you don't really see a lot in superhero movies, right? So having that ending, and just I remember leaving the theater after seeing this just being like, what the hell did I just watch? So Infinity War definitely deserves to be in the top. And then Endgame, oh my gosh, like Endgame it's one of those movies that I can watch just over and over again, continuing the story from Infinity War, but this time it's about bringing everyone back and fixing what happened in the previous movie, and then not just that, but revisiting the locations, revisiting the timelines of the previous movies that we had already seen, and then just giving us those moments like the portal scene, if Captain America using Mjolnir, and then of course the Avengers Assemble, the first time that we hear it on screen, Avengers Assemble, and all of that taking place within like 15-20 minutes. Like the last act of that movie alone, insane. So definitely deserves to be up there as well. So next up is Black Panther, which I'm also going to put up here. And obviously, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. He did great work, not just in this movie, but in all of his other works as well. So a big thank you to him for bringing this character to the big screen, and doing it justice. He played this role extremely well. This movie had a lot, man. This movie, it just it became like almost like a like a cultural phenomenon, right? And it took off, and having the you can't see the icons. Hold on, I got you. All right. Since we don't need to see gods here until the end, anyways. So, all right. So yes, Black Panther, being the cultural phenomenon that it was, and then having a majority like black cast, having everyone come together for that as well, and then giving us one of the greatest villains like ever in Killmonger. A character so iconic that to this day his hairstyle is still being replicated. Oh, you know what? I thought that was Avengers 1. I apologize. I thought that was the first Avengers movie, I promise. Age of Ultron, I might as well talk about it since it's in the wrong spot. So Age of Ultron is definitely not here. Ultron is actually going to be here. I really thought that was Avengers 1. That's my bad. Yeah, Age of Ultron, I don't know, it's just after everything came together so well with the first one, it's hard to say exactly what went wrong with this one, but the story just didn't quite come together. I got you. This is it, and I'm glad you told me to zoom in because I legit did not realize that was Age of Ultron. But yeah, so Age of Ultron, I don't know, it just did not come together as nicely as the first Avengers movie. It just wasn't hitting. It just wasn't hitting, man. And I have to put it in low tier. It's probably on the higher end of the low tier. It's not as bad as some of the others that we'll get to later. But definitely it's low tier, and our first entry into the low tier. But back to Black Panther. What I was saying about Killmonger, as a character, one of the best villains ever. And again, that hairstyle of like the fade with the short dreads just being replicated to this day. We've seen it in Tekken. We've seen it in I think what, Spider-Verse had it. Am I wrong on that? There was another big project where one of the characters had like that Killmonger hairstyle. But it's everywhere. Okay. But yeah, Black Panther for sure is a top tier movie. Next, Civil War. Civil War was solid. I would say I'll put it up here. Yeah, Civil War, definitely. Hey, I'm sorry. Hold on one sec. This is killing my mood over here. Let's try this instead. There you go. A little better. All right. Anyways, let me know if you can still hear me okay with the music and everything. But Civil War, it's solid. You know, I definitely think that it was done well. Obviously, they couldn't do the Civil War story on the scale that it is in the comics, just because in the comics it literally had like everyone. Like, so this was what, like a 5v5 or like 6v6 or something like that. So but for what they were able to do, they did it well. You know, and obviously this was the introduction to Spider-Man returning to the MCU, which was a big deal. And I believe this was the first. Was this the first movie that we saw Black Panther? I believe it was, right? Before he had his own movie, I believe Black Panther was in this was in Civil War. So the introduction of two key characters, and overall just solid all around. Next is Captain America. Which one is this? Captain America. The first. Okay, so this is Captain America 1. I'll probably put it here. It's probably on the lower end of mid-tier, but I feel like the low-tier ones are like really bad, which you will see. I know it looks kind of empty right now, but I can assure you, we're gonna get to them. Captain America 1, it was just alright, and you know, I feel like the story was okay. I didn't like the CGI that they used for Chris Evans, like to make him look scrawny, like before they gave him the super serum. I don't know, he just looked weird, like, you know. And again, the story was just mediocre. It was okay, but you have to remember, this was the early days of the MCU, so they weren't going super big with a lot of things. And I believe in the actual like timeline of MCU, this is actually the first movie in the actual timeline, because it takes place you know, during World War II, right? So it's all right. It's not again, it's not terrible. It's not down here, but still needs some work. So next, Winter Soldier, and this one is going straight up here. Like, come on. First off, if you have not seen Winter Soldier, I don't know what to tell you. You need to do something with yourself, man. But Winter Soldier was incredible. It was like part superhero movie, part like spy movie. You know, and then having Bucky come back and everything, it was just, I have to rewatch it, because I haven't actually watched it in a while, or I haven't rewatched it in a while, but I know this movie slaps, man. This movie hits. So no, Winter Soldier for sure is up here in the top. Again, we're not these are not in order just yet. I'm just kind of adding them as I go, but the groups are set here. So yeah, Winter Soldier for sure up here. Give me one sec. Okay. Okay. All right. Captain Marvel. Oh boy. And again, I'm trying to decide. I'll put it here, and again, I might, as the list gets filled up more, I might move this one down to here, but for now, I'll put it here. So Captain Marvel, again, it's not terrible. You know, I actually did, you know, when I saw Captain Marvel, I believe I saw it in theaters when it came out. You know, and when I finished the movie, it was just kind of like, eh. You know, I know that at the time that movie had a ton of mixed reviews, because there were some people who said they absolutely hated it, and then it caused a whole big controversy of people saying, oh, you're only hating this movie because it's a female lead, which is not the case. There are plenty of movies with female leads that are made well, that are better movies than this. You know, example off the top of my head is another superhero movie. I feel like the first Wonder Woman movie was better than Captain Marvel, personally. So it had nothing to do with the fact that it was a female lead. You know, I think for the story they had, it was all right. You know, obviously, this man said, "Try." We'll see. We'll see where Captain Marvel. Again, I feel like I will probably move it down here as we get closer to the end. But for now, I'll put it here. It's just, it wasn't really memorable movie, man. It really wasn't. You know, actually, yeah. All right, I'll put it at the top of this one here. It just wasn't. I only saw it once, and I had no desire to see that movie again. You know, but again, there are worse movies on this list for sure. Okay. Next one, oh boy. This is my man's in them right here, and Doctor Strange, the first one. So, for those of you who are not aware, you know, Doctor Strange is my favorite Marvel character by far. It's not even close. All right, hold on. Let me see if I have it over here. Okay, look. All right, I got that at CEO back in like 2011. You know, I'm not gonna say I'm a full-on fanboy for Doctor Strange, but again, I'm trying to put my bias aside here, because on my I made a top 10 list of Marvel movies like years ago, and Doctor Strange was number 1 Now, clearly, there were a lot of movies that weren't released yet. Actually, just as a little side tangent here, let me see if I can find, because I was able to pull it up earlier. Give me one sec, hold on, because I wanted to see you guys' opinion on this list here. Hold on. So while I'm looking for it, just to give some backstory, so about 7 years ago, some friends and I, we went to the movies together, right? It was about 5 of us, okay? And we had went to see, I think it was the Fantastic Four movie. I'm here for TikTok. Apparently I need to get on there, you know. But yeah, so a group of friends of mine, we went and saw the Fantastic Four movie. Okay, that horrible movie, that the one with Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm. Give me a sec. And after the movie was over, we actually... Oh my gosh. Okay, this is a separate list. So, once again, shout out to Sith Punk in the chat. Him and I were... we were discussing, you know, the potential of this list earlier. And so I actually found my original ranking list. Okay, keep in mind, as of right now, with Deadpool and Wolverine, there are a total of 34 movies or 33 movies in the MCU. So a few, I had made a list here, and I don't know if you can see this. Okay, I'm gonna read this list off. Okay, this is a list that was made maybe like over like 6-7 years ago. Okay, and at the time, let's see, I think this is before, yeah, because Endgame is not on this list. So the top 5 at the time that I made this list was Infinity War, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Winter Soldier, and Avengers 1. That was the top 5 at the time that I made this list. Pretty solid. As you can see, a lot of the... And I might pull up that full list later on in the chat, but... Alright, enough stalling. Doctor Strange, I'm going to put... No, I'm just kidding. I want to put it here so bad, like, because I love this movie, dude. Like, I absolutely love this movie. I can watch it. I can pull up this movie at any time and just watch it, man. Alright, I'm gonna be fair. So, as much as I want to put it up here, as much as I want to put Doctor Strange in the top, like I said, that's my man's. I know of the movies that are actually in this group, and it's like, realistically, even though I love this movie, is it as good of a movie as these up here? You know, if this is a list of like which movies I enjoy the most, this would be like up here. Like, oh yeah, this would be here. Okay. But as a movie, I have to put it here. It's still very good. It's still really good. It just it just needs that I feel like if the ending was a little bit better, And by ending, I mean the whole, Dormammu have come to bargain. I feel like if they did something else other than a time loop, I might be able to bump it up. But overall, very, very good movie. Solid origin story. On a bad day, I would drop Black Panther. You're hilarious. You have to put Black Panther up here. You have to. Even right now, it's like one of the highest rated like MCU movies even right now, as far as just ratings go. All right, what's next? This looks like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I'm gonna put this here. Guardians 2. I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy as a whole is a pretty solid series. Like all three movies are solid, but I feel like the second one was the weakest out of the three, for sure. It's just trying to find something to exactly pinpoint, because again, I haven't seen this in a while, so I'm trying to remember. I know that the story was about Quill finding his dad, and his dad being like his dad being this entity, and then I don't know, it was just I don't think it was as good as the first one or the third one. It was still alright though. It's alright. Speaking of, the first Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm gonna put up here. So I love this movie, and everything from like the soundtrack, and just kind of like the way that it was shot, with like the space shots, and just everything. Again, the soundtrack kind of carries this movie though, to me. God, I'm trying to remember, because I remember there was a line, and I can't remember if it was the first one or the second one, where Yondu was said that he was Mary Poppins. Was that which one was that? Was that the second one, where he said, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all"? which one was that? I feel like that was the second one, right? Okay, yeah, okay. But no, Guardians 1, just the introduction of each of the characters, very solid work, and just seeing this ragtag group come together and accomplish big things, really good. And again, I feel like 30 to 40% of like why I love this movie is the soundtrack. But it is what it is. I feel like the movie itself is really good though as well. What is next? Iron Man. Which one is this? 2? God, why are they so small? Okay, Iron Man 2. I mean, I rock with Tony Stark heavy. However, again, it's either high low tier or low mid tier for sure. I'll put low mid tier for now. It's because the introduction of War Machine, and Why is it? Why does it exist here? Is crazy. I don't know. It was just, and again, this is another one that the last time I saw it was a while ago. I remember Mickey Rourke was the villain, right? Whiplash, and I remember this is when they recast War Machine, right? Because I know Terrence Howard was War Machine in the first Iron Man, and then they've recast War Machine for this one. I don't know. It was just it didn't live up, especially because the first Iron Man was the first movie in the MCU. It was so long ago, but it still holds up. Yeah, it still holds up. Oh my God, Terrence Howard! Did you see his interview with Joe Rogan? Not to sidetrack, but he did an interview with Joe Rogan. I don't think it was that long ago, but and he was talking about that. He was talking about like the pay discrepancy with Iron Man, how it was supposed to be like a three picture deal, and and they were cutting him out of like 7 million or something like that. They were paying him like 7 million less, which I'd be upset about, honestly. Like, listen, if we signed for this much and you're telling me you're gonna be paying me 7 million less, hell yeah, I'm gonna be upset. Crazy. But not to sidetrack here. So yeah, Iron Man 2 was alright, but honestly, it was forgettable, to be honest. Iron Man 3 is going straight down here. I'm sorry. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what they were thinking with Iron Man 3. Okay, yeah. And obviously the big problem I had, which a lot of people had with Iron Man 3, was yeah, next time, maybe not, right? So if you have seen Iron Man 3, you recall the villain in that movie. The villain was the Mandarin, and if you are a comic reader, you know who the Mandarin is, and this movie hyped it up. They brought in, who we thought was the Mandarin, and then the way they played that card was just like, why? Why would you do that? Like, very Deadpool. I mean, I guess you can look at it that way, but at the same time, it's like, see, Deadpool can do that stuff because we know it's Deadpool, right? And we're definitely gonna get to that later. We're gonna get to Deadpool later, but with Iron Man, you're not expecting Iron Man to pull something like that, like especially with a major villain like that, And then they tried to retcon it in Shang-Chi. They tried to fix it, but we're never gonna be able to unsee that, So that whole way that they handled the Mandarin, that alone made me like put this movie where I put it. So all right, next is Iron Man, the first Iron Man, and this is definitely going up here. Once again, I'm gonna reorder each of these groups towards the end. For now, I just want to kind of get them grouped together and just the parent was a building. Oh goodness. So yeah, so I almost want to put this movie like even though I almost want to put it over here, like the I want to let me, there we go, because what makes this movie so great is that, as I said before, it was the very first movie, you know, in the MCU, and yet it still holds up to the movies that are getting released today. And now I know lately Marvel has not been, you know, but even during the Infinity War saga, there are some of those movies that are not as strong as Iron Man. And you know, Robert Downey Jr. being the absolute perfect actor to play Tony Stark. I cannot picture anyone else on this planet playing Tony Stark other than RDJ. Perfect casting for that. You know, and obviously, you know, the post-credit scene of Iron Man with Nick Fury, which set up pretty much everything else that happened. You know, setting up the Avengers coming together, and it all started with this movie right here. So we wouldn't have any of this stuff here if it wasn't for Iron Man. You know, very, very well done movie. Next is Spider-Man Far From Home. So this one I'm gonna put up here. So this was the one where Peter Parker went to Europe, right? And they had like Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, right? And this one was, I enjoyed this movie. I enjoy all the Spider-Man movies, honestly. I think that finally having Spider-Man come into the MCU and get his proper MCU movie, which, don't get me wrong, the original Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were great. Outside of Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, we don't talk about that. But the rest of them, they were all good. But we wanted that MCU Spider-Man. So, but I like Far From Home. If I'm not mistaken, I think this was the movie that he told his best friend, right? That his best friend found out that he was Spider-Man. I'm pretty sure it was this movie. But you know, Tom Holland does a good job as Spider-Man. You know, even though he's not in high school, you know, because of his like stature, he actually looks like, you know, a high schooler. Like, one of the issues I had with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is that he's supposed to be in high school, yet clearly this is like a 30-year-old man. You know, but at least Tom Holland like looks the part, you know. But yeah, this was a well done movie. And then of course you had that big cliffhanger ending, which led to No Way Home, which we'll get to, which is one of like, that's gonna go up here. Just spoiler alert, that's gonna go up here for sure. Spider-Man Homecoming, not as good. Not as good as Far From Home to me. I'll put it mid tier. Yeah, Homecoming was solid, but it didn't have that oomph. You know, it took them a few movies to to get that. But I think this was a solid introduction as far as a full movie introduction of Peter Parker into the MCU. We did see him in Civil War briefly, but it was good to see him in his own movie here, you know, and of course his interactions with Tony Stark were all well done, you know, which we saw played out in Infinity War and Endgame. You know, the relationship they had, you know, really well done. I just feel like it was just solid. It needed more. Okay, so Avengers. I already discussed Avengers because when I put Age of Ultron, I couldn't see it that it said Age of Ultron, so I'm not going to discuss this one again. I'm just going to put this up here for reasons discussed earlier, just to not go through the whole spiel again. Okay, Incredible Hulk. I'm sorry, I rock with Hulk, but no, absolutely not. It's like, and shout out to you know, Edward Norton, you know, for playing the Hulk. This was still better than, I don't know if you guys remember the original Hulk movie that came out with Eric Bana. That movie was even worse than this one, but this one was still, especially when you compare it to like the rest of the list, it just does not, you know. And I don't know if they will, but I hope that they can get a proper Hulk movie to kind of redo this, or at least make a sequel with Mark Ruffalo. Just something to erase this, something to make us forget this. Yeah, facts. Like, the original Hulk movie was good, but let me not say good. The original Hulk movie with Eric Bana was just, it was just okay. But this, especially again in the grand scheme of things, it's just not going to hold a candle to the rest of this list. Okay, Thor Ragnarok. I love this movie, man. And it was surprising to me how they were able to bounce back from this movie here. Thor Ragnarok is up here for sure. I just thought that the movie had a little bit of everything. It was done well. It had the pacing. It had the comedy, but the comedy wasn't too. It wasn't too much with the comedy. They weren't kind of like, you know, shoving it down your throat. You know, pause. But it was enough where there was like a balance of comedy and, you know, like the drama and the action, and it all meshed really well. Yeah, like the whole art style of the movie was good as well. You know, and then having Thor versus Hulk, you know, in the arena, really good. The introduction of Valkyrie, who would become a major character down the line. You know, I love this movie. That's very true. Yeah, if you look at just the cover art alone, like, look at this, these two here, like this, and we're gonna get to this, but like, it's all like washed out, and just this one, it's like, okay, we're just gonna redo the whole thing, you know. Very, very well done. Very well done. This, however, was not well done. This is going up here. Okay. Oh my gosh. What were they thinking with this movie? Like, and it sucks because this movie is important because it introduces one of the Infinity Stones. Like, the Reality Stone came from this movie. So like, when you're watching, you know, like Infinity War, and you're like, oh, let me go back and see how, you know, where the stones came from, this has to be one of the movies that you watch for that. Oh my gosh, man. We don't even start with this. It just, I think it started out with like Thor and gosh, I forgot the character's name, pardon me. Was it Jane? Thor and Jane were broken up, and then you had you know, I'm trying to remember because again, it's been a while since I've seen this one, and I think I've only saw it like maybe once. And the one thing I remember about this movie that really upset me was, if you recall, there was a scene where they were in like a different like dimension, but yet somehow like Jane was able to get a phone call. Come on, man. What kind of 10G reception do you need to have for that? Okay. Now, I get it. I know that it was supposed to be like a portal, and just that one area was a portal to that, you know, this different dimension, but it made no damn sense. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to go off on a complete rant. Okay. But no, just everything about this is no. Thor 1. I'm sorry. I rock with Thor. I promise I don't hate Thor. I promise you. Okay. But I mean, yes, it was the origin story, you know, but I don't know, it just, I do like the origin story and the character development of Thor in this movie, but other than that, it's just, I don't know. And then the final boss, the final villain at the end, was some random like robot looking thing that looked like it looked like Lord Zed from Power Rangers. You ever see Power Rangers? If you're my age, you know. Okay, if you remember Power Rangers, okay, one of the villains in Power Rangers was Lord Zed, and he had like this like red skin, and like his eyes looked like he had permanent sunglasses on. That's what this robot looked like that Thor was fighting at the end of this movie. It's like, come on, because Thor is supposed to be like one of the iconic, like he's an OG, you know, Avenger, you know. but did not have a good start. So it took them 2 movies, but they did get it right in Ragnarok. But no. Black Widow. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, Black Widow. Can't do it, man. And again, this is another movie that I've only watched one time. I do like the fact that they were giving us a backstory for Black Widow's for Natasha's character. You know, I feel like it did help a little bit, but the execution wasn't really done that well to me. You know, I thought it was cool to see Taskmaster on the big screen. You know, because anyone that knows me, you know, I'm a Marvel player, Marvel's Capcom 3. But it was good to see Taskmaster, but at the same time, it was just, I don't know. If there's one word I can say to describe this particular movie, it would just be like forgettable. and I mean no disrespect to, you know, anyone that worked on the movie. It just wasn't. It didn't stick with me, you know. You know, her sister being her sister coming back in the Hawkeye show, like, I remember that more than like this movie. Okay, so alright, so next is Shang-Chi, and oh man, this is, I feel like we don't talk enough about how good this movie actually is. I feel like this is a sleeper, like, top pick, man, because, you know, and actually, you know, I watched this movie earlier today, you know, just as like a rewatch, but this movie is really, really good, man. Does it go in the top? Hold on, let me put this back here for a second. So right now, God, that's a solid top 5 though. Does Shang-Chi belong in the same bracket as these guys up here? It is good, but can it hang with these guys? Oh man, I feel like it does though, man. So keep in mind also something about me that some of you may not be aware of is that I'm a huge fan of martial arts films. You know, I watched a lot of martial arts kung fu movies, you know, as a kid, with my dad, you know, coming up, you know, one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite kung fu movies was called Iron Monkey. Shout out to Ip Man as well, but yes, thank you. You know, that's why I rock with you, man. But yeah, Iron Monkey, which actually Donnie Yen is actually in Iron Monkey as well. It's a much older movie, but those types of movies. So when you take that that martial arts like style, and then you bring in like, you know, superheroes and stuff, you know, and then the soundtrack slaps for this movie as well, man. I'm sorry. This might be my first hot take, man, of the night. But I gotta do this. It might be at the lower end of it, but I'm gonna put this up here. It's so good, man. Again, if you have not seen Shang-Chi, this movie is ridiculous, bro. Oh, it's not... I think I lost a viewer putting that up there. Oh my gosh. I did watch Forbidden Kingdom as well, but I don't know. That movie was hyped up because you had like, I think that was one of the first times we had Jet Li and Jackie Chan in the same movie, but it did not live up to it. I'm sorry. It did not. Like, it's one of those where they're great separately, but then when you try to put them together, didn't work out. Alright, next. Eternals. Oh gosh. It's like I wanted to like this movie. I really did. But I gotta put it here. I'm sorry. It's just and it pains me to do that, man, because like they have a solid cast, man. Like I would almost say a star-studded cast for this man said eternal slumber. Oh my gosh. They have a, like, the cast for this movie is insane. Like and they had Angelina Jolie, they had Salma Hayek, they had they had Kit Harington, they had God, I forget the guy's name, but he plays Robb Stark on Game of Thrones. Listen, I told you the groups they're not ordered yet, right? I have to go back and reorder these. They're not in order. Alright, calm down. But yeah, so with Eternals, I mean, I get that they were trying to do something different, I guess, with the MCU. It was definitely a different type of movie for sure. You know, I like the story behind the Eternal as far as like where they actually came from. I think it's interesting. But again, it's the execution, man. The execution, you know, and then the way it ended, man. It just, I mean, spoiler alert for those that haven't seen it, but obviously if you haven't seen it by now, I don't think you're going to. Okay, but basically, you know, when you have the Eternals were like these like huge celestial like beings that are like the size of like planets and stuff. And like, so when the movie was ending, one of these celestials was trying to I think they were going to try to destroy Earth from like the inside or something like that. They were like gonna absorb the planet, and of course, you know, the Eternals, they stop him, but like part of his body is just sticking out of the ocean. Like his hand and the top of his head are just sticking out of like the planet, and it's just like, and they just kind of left it there. They never they never came back to that. They just kind of left it there. And I'm just like, I guess the writers just figured like, hey, they saved the day. That's all we need, guys. Let's go on to the next one. So I don't know. So yeah. Next. Spider-Man No Way Home. Straight up here. For sure. Listen. This movie gave me literally everything that I wanted. Okay. It gave me Spider-Man. Right? It gave me Doctor Strange. It gave me Multiverse. It brought back, you know, not just the original Spider-Man, but it brought back the villains from their universe also. You know, it was just amazing. And again, seeing just the dynamic of the different Peter Parkers, you know, interacting with each other, seeing them, how they team up, how they work together. This movie was almost perfect. You know, great performances by Willem Dafoe, you know, Tom Holland, you know, the scene with Aunt May, you know, there was just solid acting from Tom Holland. This movie actually showed me, you know, more of Tom Holland's actual acting, and not just being like a goofball, you know what I mean? And this is no disrespect to Tom Holland, you know. I know he's just playing the character, but it was good to just see that that side of him, you know. But this movie literally had everything. So shout out to No Way Home. Oh boy, here we go. The return of my boy. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Okay. So this movie because I did enjoy it, but again, I'm kind of biased, so I'm gonna enjoy anything that's got Doctor Strange in it. Yeah, let me discuss this for a second before I put this down. So this movie, no, for real. So I'm trying to remember, because Multiverse of Madness come out. Did Multiverse of Madness release before or after No Way Home? I think No Way Home came out before Doctor Strange 2, right? So basically what I'm trying to think is, like, did they or did they not have did they or did they not have like a blueprint of how the multiverse was going to be handled in this movie, because I feel like there are parts that are really good, and then there are some parts that kind of fall flat, and it pains me to say that, because again, this is my man's in them, you know. Having Wanda as the villain for this was great. You know, and Sam Raimi, you know, doing what Sam Raimi does, you know. The cinematography was great in this movie. You know, Benedict Cumberbatch, always great performance, you know, especially in this movie he's playing multiple versions of Strange, so you know, definitely well done on that. The one thing the one gripe I have with this movie is when, and again, spoiler alert for this, you know, I will give a slight spoiler alerts for these. I'll give a much more prominent spoiler alert when we get to Deadpool and Wolverine at the end. But as far as Doctor Strange 2, like when they bring in the Illuminati, you know, just so they can say that they were on screen, just to kill them. Whose idea was that? like especially when you give us, you know, Professor X, you know, and you guys, you knew what you were doing, Marvel. You knew, because when Professor X came out, and you know, you saw like the wheelchair wheel with like the X on it, you guys played the theme song. You guys played the okay. You guys knew about the fan service that you were doing. You knew we wanted to see Professor X. You knew this. Okay. So you brought him in. Okay. You brought in Black Bolt. You brought in Captain Carter. You brought in Mr. Fantastic. You brought in John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, which everyone wanted. So I'm thinking, yes. Like, you know, this is great, you know. And then what do? Not even 10 minutes later, what do? You kill all of them. Okay? Why? And I get it. I get you're trying to show that this is, you know, how powerful Wanda is, and you know, she's Scarlet Witch, and she's this Nexus being, you know. You did not have to do them like that. Okay? Especially Professor X, man. He didn't have to go out like that. That part pissed me off. Like, it really did. God damn, dude. Alright, with that being said, so I'm gonna put it here in mid-tier. Again, these are not ordered. I'm gonna come back and order these. At the end, I'm gonna reorder the groups. Okay, next. Oh god, your boy Thor is not having a good day today, is he? Thor: Love and Thunder is going right next to this one. It just, oh my gosh, I feel like they tried to take what they did in Thor Ragnarok, and they figured, oh, you know, the people like this, and then they just tried to like overdo it with that in this movie, and it just, no, that's not how you do it. That's just not how you do it. You know, the comedy was too much. You know, And then they made it super weird, like with they were in the council with like the gods, and you know, you have Zeus talking about like, you guys are not invited to the orgy. Do you know how many kids probably saw this movie, man? What are you guys doing? Hello? And they doubled down. They said it like 3 or 4 times. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? You know? And then having, you know, listen, I'm not mad at a female Thor. I am aware that did happen in the comics as well. So I'm not even mad at a female Thor, at Jane getting powers. I'm not mad at that. It's just everything else. Okay, it was not well done. No. It just wasn't well done. So Thor, you're like 1 for 4, my man, as far as your own movies. Next, Black Panther 2. Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Okay. Now, obviously with the unexpected passing of Chadwick Boseman before this movie was completed, you know, and once again, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. With his passing and them having to kind of redo a lot of this movie, and then they basically turned it into a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, which he deserves. You know, and then having, I forget the actress's name that plays Shuri. It's like Letitia something. Having her take the mantle of Black Panther, you know, and you know, deal with this new threat, you know, of Namor and his people, and her being, you know, basically a kid trying to deal with all this, you know, there was a lot going on with this movie as far as like the production itself, and then like the movie itself. With that being said, oh yeah, Lupita, she always carries though. She's a great actress, man. I'm just looking at what's in this. It's definitely better than the movies in this group, for sure. So it's either here or it's here, like at the front of it. Alright, I think for now I'm gonna put it at the top of. I want to let me switch it. There you go. I'll put it here for now. And again, I might move it up. But for now, I think that's a solid spot for it. Oh God, here we go. The next movie on the list is Ant-Man 3, Quantumania. Good God. Alright, so before I do anything else, I'm just gonna put this here. Okay. Oh boy. Even without looking at everything that happened after this, as far as like with Jonathan Majors and him getting fired, even just looking at the movie itself, it was just not good. Like there's no There's no other way to say it. And I think that Jonathan Majors' performance in this movie was good. It was not enough to save this movie. I'm sorry. The overdone comedy, the story that kind of made sense but kind of didn't. You know, the fact that, God, I forgot her name. Michelle Pfeiffer's character, the one, Hank Pym's wife. What the hell is her name? The fact that she was in there that long and never mentioned at all Kang. Now, granted, she had her reasons to do it, but for me to believe she really just never mentioned it, like, at all. Yet randomly, like, the, you know, Ant-Man's daughter found a way back there, you know. It was just a bunch of coincidences that happened to work, like half the movie was. And then my boy MODOK, god damn. Like, I forgot what this is, but the PC map, you're about to get banned, my friend. Hold on. Oh no. Not gonna do that. My bad, guys. So I can't do it from here. Alright. Anyways, why'd they do my boy like that, man? Again, hold on. I had the Doctor Strange one earlier. Okay. You already know. Alright. That's my other man's, man, from Marvel 3. Why do they have to do MODOK like that in the movie, man? Why do they have to make him look like that? Come on, man. Like, you got the budget to create like thousands of extras and all these crazy environments. Okay, yet this one character, you couldn't make him look halfway decent. Come on, man. And don't get me wrong, I know MODOK, he's a weird looking character to begin with, but come on, dude. What are we really doing? Honestly, like, this movie, Quantumania might be like the word. It might be bottom one. It really might be bottom one. Alright, moving on. So this is Guardians 3. Guardians 3 was very good. Very good. Excuse me. I'm gonna put Guardians 3 in a high tier for sure. I feel like the Guardians of the Galaxy series as a whole is extremely good. With this one, I believe they focused on Rocket Raccoon and his backstory, and you know, they introduced, you know, Adam Warlock. So they did really, really well with this movie, and I believe, was it this movie that had that crazy that crazy one-shot scene where they're fighting in the hallway, that was ridiculous, man. You kidding me? So and also Guardians does a good job of balancing like the comedy, the drama, and the action. Something that we've seen with, you know, like a Thor Ragnarok, you know, with a No Way Home, you know, with a lot of the later movies that were done well. But I feel like Guardians does the almost the best job of having that balance. But yeah, it's very, very good movie. Next, the Marvels. So, fun fact about this movie. Before I decided to do this list, you know, I had seen Deadpool and Wolverine. This was the only movie that I had not seen. Now, I did watch it for the very first time this morning. And, oh goodness. It was for completion's sake at this point. So with that being said, this movie is gonna go. It's in low tier. It just is. Oh gosh, where do I start? I feel like no, Yondu is no, and don't get me wrong. I like Guardians too. You know, I just think it wasn't as it wasn't as strong of a movie as the first one and the third one. I enjoy Guardians too. And Yondu, yeah, everything with Yondu in that movie, yeah, that was the one where he did the Mary Poppins. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Like, you know, but I can't have like just his stuff by itself just catapult that movie into a different tier. Once again, these are not ordered. These within the tiers, I'm going to go back and reorder these. Okay. So it's very possible that this will be like over here at like the top of mid, you know. But we'll get to that. So going back to the Marvels. Gosh. I mean, I would say spoiler alert, but I feel like this is one of those, again, if you haven't seen this, you don't plan on seeing this movie, dude. It just, oh gosh. Now, yes, I will admit the high point of the movie was Kamala's family and Kamala herself, even though there were moments in the movie where even she went a little too far, and I think that the movie acknowledged it as well. Like, for example, there was a line in the movie where they were escaping like the water planet, and Captain Marvel, like, you know, saved the other two, and Kamala was like she said, "Oh Captain, my Captain." And then the camera pans over to Monica. The camera pans over to Captain Rambo's face, and she's just like, "Are you serious?" God. Oh my god. It's like, I don't know, it's just, I feel like there were certain parts that just weren't necessary in the movie. Like, the whole thing with them doing like the double dutch and the fact that when they went to that one planet, like their native language was singing, so they had to bust out, like they had to turn it into a musical for a few minutes. They could have went without doing that. Come on, man. They didn't have to they didn't have to do that. But exactly, the whole musical section was so unnecessary. Now I do like the fight scenes, and I do like the concept of like them switching places mid-fight and still being able to, you know, do well in the fight. I like all that, you know. Oh, and then the scene with the cats. Oh my god. It's like you have like they took the original cat from Captain Marvel, right? I think Goose was the name of the cat. The one that like can eat people, basically. It had like these tentacles, and it basically could like eat like an entire human body in like one gulp. So I feel like the writers, they're like, listen, people love that in Captain Marvel, so we're gonna bring this back and we're gonna do it bigger and better and more. And they just had an entire like spaceship full of these cats that was just eating everyone. And then their explanation of it was just, oh, you know, we'll just let the, you know, everyone's gonna let the cats eat them, and then we can just transport the cats. And it was just so, oh my god, I'm getting angry just thinking about it. Like they did not need to do that. Okay, unnecessary. Oh boy. Okay, is it time? Oh man. Okay, so I'm gonna give my obligatory spoiler warning for real this time, just because this movie came out like less than 2 weeks ago. If you have not seen Deadpool and Wolverine, please, for the love of everything, click off. Alright? Because trust me, this is what, and if you haven't seen it yet, first off, what the hell are you doing? Second of all, you need to see this movie. Like, you do not want to get spoiled for this movie, I promise you. Alright? Okay. Now, Deadpool and Wolverine is going up here. And again, I'm going to reorder these. Alright? It is 100% a top tier movie. 100%. Goodness, this movie literally gave me everything. Like I said earlier that No Way Home gave me everything. No, this really gave me like everything that I wanted. Oh my gosh. So this list does not, you know, I'm not including the Fox movies. I'm only including the official MCU titles in this list. However, the original Deadpool movies, Deadpool 1 and 2, both of those movies were great also. Okay. So I knew that before this movie even came out, I knew this was gonna be like up there, like this. Oh man. So where do I start with Deadpool and Wolverine? First off, huge shout out to Ryan Reynolds for really really going the extra mile with this character from the beginning, and giving the people what we wanted, which was an R-rated Deadpool movie, and then just building off of that, and everything culminating with this movie here, so this movie, first off, the cameos are out of this world. Like, there were some that I expected, but then when you bring in like the squad, like the main team, and I'm talking about like the Elektra, the Blade, the Gambit, the X-23, like, I could not believe that they got Wesley Snipes to do this movie. Like, and I say that they were cameos, but those specific characters, those four, they were not just cameos, they were not just cameos that were there and then like, oh, you blink, you missed them. No, they were there for like the entire, like an entire 20-minute span of the movie, like, not just in the action scenes, but like interacting with the characters, giving slight backstories of their own. It was insane. The fight scenes were amazing. Seeing Deadpool and Wolverine fight in the void right near the 20th Century Fox logo, I thought that was fitting. They do not hold back with the violence in this movie, as is expected in a Deadpool movie. The violence is there, the profanity is there, but then you have those serious moments, like when that moment from the trailer where he's holding up the photo and it's like, there's only 9 people in this photo, but this is my entire world right here. Lines like that hit, man. Like, and then seeing the backstory of Wolverine and why he's wearing the suit, and what happened to the X-Men, it's just so much good, man. Honestly, the only gripe at all that I have with this movie, and this is petty. This is me being, petty, or as I like to say, petty wop. This is me being petty wop. Is that they killed Doctor Strange, even though he wasn't on screen at all. They mentioned, Cassandra Nova killing Doctor Strange, which I was just like, that's kind of messed up. They didn't have to do my boy like that, man. They didn't have to do my boy like that. Cassandra Nova was a great villain. She was actually like, no, because remember when because she was saying like the magician that came through had the portal ring, Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I only saw She-Hulk once, and God damn, that show was terrible. But I don't recall there being a portal ring. I don't recall anyone on that show having a portal ring, right? But and that's just me nitpicking and like taking like a point off for that. But you know, other than that, this movie literally had like everything. It had everything. So it's definitely the best recent Marvel movie. It's better than anything that has come out recently by far. Okay. That shows how much I was paying attention during She-Hulk. All right. So then I have no points to take off. Deadpool Wolverine. Now, so what we're gonna do next here is obviously I have to pick one of these 8 movies. Yes, one of these 8 movies is gonna be God tier. Okay, so before I get to that and which one is gonna be number 1, I'm gonna come back and reorder these here so it's a little more accurate. So let's see. Quantumania, I feel like is the worst movie, so that needs to be here. Let's see. I feel like Captain Marvel is not nearly as bad as the rest of these here. Again, I might move it. I might move it up here, to be honest with you. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna put Captain Marvel here. God, this is tough. These are all really bad. Now, I will say, out of the ones that are left, Age of Ultron will probably be the best out of these. Oh goodness, these are all so bad. How do I order these, man? Honestly, this one, because of the Mandarin, like that just pissed me off. I think Thor 2 is pretty bad. Move Thor over here. Okay, so I feel like this is a good order from left to right for the bottom tier, with Ant-Man 3 being the worst one. Alright, so with this one, don't judge me. So for high tier, Yeah, Thor Ragnarok is really good, man. Hey, yes, I am putting my boy as top 10 right here. Is what it is, man. Yeah, these are all so close, man. These 6 movies here are all really close. I feel like I have to put Iron Man ahead just because it's been able to withstand the test of time. Okay. Ugh. This is the tough one, man. Because all of these are so good. So pretty much I have to order these top 8 here. And then whichever one of these is the best is gonna be the God tier movie. Oh man. Alright, so this is so hard. Okay, so I feel like Avengers. Yeah, these are my 5 right here, but this is really difficult. Oh my gosh. Chat, I don't know. Between Endgame, Infinity War, Black Panther, Winter Soldier, No Way Home, and Deadpool and Wolverine. Actually, this is top 6. Why was Ultron so low? I don't know, man. I feel like... Actually, no, let me look at this again, because I did say that I possibly could move it up, right? I know for a fact that it felt Sky. I wouldn't exactly say that. Again, it's nowhere near like these. I almost want to put it at least like the bottom of mid, but it's really not. Again, these are bad. Like the ones. Like looking at this group here, like this is the only one I feel is the odd one out of like this. Because if you look at this stretch of movies here, this is bad. Alright, now I'm gonna write executive decision. I want to move this one up, and Age of Ultron. Alright, I want to put it here. I'll put it here. I like this because the list is looking pretty balanced. It's not one. There's not one tier that's like jam packed. So I kind of like that. But this top 6, man, how the hell am I supposed to order this? This is crazy. Okay. Okay. Let's try this. Is Deadpool and Wolverine better or worse than No Way Home? God, how am I gonna order this? I feel like any one of these 6 movies can be number 1. I don't know how I'm gonna order this top 6. This is tough. Listen, I don't know, man. If you're saying that it's criminal that Deadpool and Wolverine is in top, yeah, I don't know if you've seen that movie, my friend. It's always Spider-Man or play. These are all so good. Now keep in mind, these top 6, I'm in the process of trying to order it. Well, okay, what tier would you put Deadpool and Wolverine? Jumies. I'm curious. I just want to know if Deadpool and Wolverine does not go in top tier, what tier would you put Deadpool and Wolverine? Oh, come on now, that's at least high. Well, this man said Infinity War, Black Panther, Endgame, Spider-Man, Winter Soldier, Deadpool, OG Avengers. Shang-Chi would go down 1 tier. I don't know, man. Shang-Chi's really good. I don't know. I did say that Shang-Chi in top tier was one of my hot takes for this list. Hey, appreciate the follow though. Man. Alright, let me really look at this list because right, so basically the God tier is basically like the number 1. Like the clear, like this is like the pinnacle. Alright, you know what? Because again, you got to remember, I just watched Shang-Chi today as well, so that's like fresh in my mind too. But I really love this movie. Is Shang-Chi a good movie or a good hero movie? No, I even if I move Shang-Chi down, I still would put Shang-Chi better than anything in high tier. And that hurts because again, Doctor Strange is my man. I almost want to move him up, but I'm trying to keep it fair. Alright? So, but I do think that I think personally, I like. I still like Shang-Chi better than Avengers 1. So I feel like if I move Shang-Chi down, I would have to move Avengers down also. I feel like both of these two would have to come into high tier. Ugh, this is so tough. Okay, so alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to alright, so I'm gonna move these two down. So I'm gonna put Avengers and Shang-Chi here. Again, I still think that these two are better than these guys, but I think these I think these six, it's a solid top six, man. Now I will say these three have been actually, you know what? This has been my top 5 like for the last like few years. Well, at least until, you know, since No Way Home came out. This guy here is like the wild card. You know, listen. Even if Deadpool and Wolverine is not like top 2 or 3, it deserves to be up here. It does. It does. Now I will say I would put No Way Home above. I put No Way Home above Winter Soldier. But these guys here, man. Ugh. Alright, so I feel like Civil War is like a 6v6, man. I said this earlier in the stream. If Civil War was done on the scale that it's done in the comics, then Civil War would be probably like up here. But they knew, I think they knew that they were saving their budget for these two because they needed it. Alright. So I think this is the order that I want. I don't know if I can put, and I think part of it's because it's still so early. I don't know if I can put Deadpool and Wolverine any higher than I don't know if I can put Deadpool and Wolverine above any of these guys. Not yet, at least. I think once the movie has been out for a bit, and if I maybe like come back to it, but right now, I don't want to be like caught up in the moment, you know. So I think these are fine. So one of these three is gonna be God tier. Black Panther's freaking good too, man. Okay, so here's how I'm going to decide it. If someone came to me and said, "Hey, which would you rather watch right now? If I had the choice to watch one of these right now, which one would I watch?" And to me, I gotta. It's gonna be Endgame. I'm sorry. I have to. Infinity War is so good too, man. But it's like it's so close between these two. It really is. But as far as like which would it's like what should you rather watch right now? If you had the choice to watch Endgame right now or Infinity War right now, I would pick Endgame. Like, you know, that is what I want, and I've seen Endgame at least like 6-7 times already. Like, it never gets old, dude. You know, and I love Infinity War as well, but and Black Panther is just solid overall around. No Way Home obviously has everything I want. Plus, it has Doctor Strange. Winter Soldier is just amazing, you know. And again, I feel like Deadpool and Wolverine could be higher up, but I feel like it's too early. And if I put it higher than these guys, I feel like it would be unfair, because these guys have at least been out for a bit. And again, Deadpool and Wolverine very well could be like up here, but I just think for me it's too early to put it that high. The fact that it's top tier this early, I think, is a testament to the movie, but I can't put it in top 5. I can't. It's a great movie though. It's a great movie. So, all right. So this looks like this is the list right here. I feel like it's pretty balanced. You know, the low and mid tier have the same amount. You know, where we have less of the top tiers. That's kind of how it should be, right? And of course, you have like your god tier. So, and this, as of right now, this is ordered. This is ordered from left to right. So right now I have Avengers Endgame as my number 1 movie, and I have that's what I'm saying. Like, the moments were great, but I feel like if you look past like the cameos, which the cameos are great, don't get me wrong, but if you look at the main story, it's pretty much, you know, Deadpool's trying to save his universe. He needs a Wolverine. He has to convince Wolverine to help him out, and then they have to escape the void and get to this machine before the rogue TVA guy does his thing, right? Yeah, I think the story was better in the first two, especially the very first Deadpool story was great. But I think over time, I think Deadpool and Wolverine could very well climb up this list. But as of now, Yeah, like when the original Deadpool came out, I was just like, is this really a superhero movie? Like, but I think for an MCU debut, Deadpool did great. And something that I did not mention when I was going over that movie's details is one of the things that I really love about that movie is that, hang on one sec, this music is like super loud. God damn. Alright, you know what? So one of the things that I liked about Deadpool and Wolverine is that Marvel was able to keep it real with themselves, on multiple occasions, saying like when Wolverine was brought in and said, "Welcome to the MCU. This is kind of a downtime," and the whole speech with Deadpool talking about like the multiverse and people are tired of the multiverse, and it worked for a bit, but now like you gotta do something else. So I feel like it was great for Marvel to acknowledge that on screen through the use of Deadpool and like the fourth wall. So I think that was really great. But yeah, this is my list, man. I think this is a solid list, man. I think this is a solid list. So I'll probably post this later, and I'll probably do something similar with the Marvel shows. Now that one, if I do decide to go through with that, that's gonna take some time, because I need to get caught up on the shows, and obviously a lot of these shows have like at least like 10 episodes a piece, so it would take me a bit to get caught up before I can actually like make a list. Damn, this man's he said do a DC one and put all the movies in low tier. Damn, this man spit. You guys are hilarious. But yeah, I'd like to do a for the Marvel shows, like the Lokis, like the WandaVision, like the Moon Knights, because I feel like there's enough shows to do a list like that. And there was one other thing. There was another list I was thinking about, but for sure I would need time to actually like get caught up on the shows, because I want to make I don't want to rank anything that I haven't seen. So if She-Hulk isn't bottom of high tier, we're gonna have a problem, sir. Listen, man. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. So I want to do a list of the Marvel shows, but I also want to do a list of like the non-Marvel, like the non-MCU movies, like Logan, the X-Men movies, maybe like Venom. I guess you can count Into the Spider-Verse, I guess, and Across the Spider-Verse. I don't think those are official Marvel Studios titles, so I guess they can be on the other list. But no, I kind of like this. It's kind of, it's kind of different from my normal streams, but it's good to good to engage with everyone with this stuff. You know, I like the conversation. So, all right. So actually, I'm going to save this list, and then when I post it, then I'm curious to see the reactions, because again, the last time I posted a list, let's just say it did not age well whatsoever. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. No, honestly, She-Hulk was... And mind you, I went in with an open mind watching She-Hulk, but I don't know. And then the whole, like... It tried to do the Deadpool thing at the end where it's like breaks the fourth wall, but it really breaks the fourth wall. And it just didn't hit. It just didn't land. So. Alright. So I think I'm gonna call it there. This is my list. Avengers Endgame, man. And then Infinity War at a close second. And the bottom of the list, Quantumania. I feel so bad for Jonathan Majors. But man, I got fired up after doing the worst movie. Oh well. So I'll probably try to do the tier list for the shows maybe in about a month. Because again, I would need time to get caught up on all those. And then we'll come do this again, man. This was good. Solid list. I appreciate the feedback and the input from everyone. So once again, for anyone watching, this is my list. It is my opinion. If you disagree, that's cool. I am perfectly fine with that. If you think my list sucks, you know, let me know. You know, I am going to see if I can put this on my YouTube channel. God, this is like a 2.5 hour video though. I'll probably have to edit some of it. But yeah, this is solid, man. Yeah, maybe a month might be a little too much. Maybe 2 months. Granted, I have seen some of the shows. I just haven't seen all of the shows. So I don't have to rewatch everything. But there are certain series that I haven't even started. So alright, with that said, I'm gonna call it there. Thanks again for hanging out with me. I will see you guys next time. And peace out.